So the table gives some information about 5 substances. First, about substance F. You can see here it's having low melting and a boiling point. It is soluble, but does not conduct it. So whenever substance does not conduct electricity in molten, in melted state or in solid state, it means definitely it will be covalent. And because it has low melting and boiling point, so it is a simple covalent structure. The same similar properties does not conduct electricity, but it has high melting and boiling point, so it is a giant covalent structure. About substance H, it is 801 and 1413. It is soluble, conduct electricity in molten state, but does not conduct electricity in solid state. What could be this compound H?
Ionic bond.
It will be ionic. The bonding will be ionic and the compound will be ionic compound. Minus 57 and 126, insoluble, does not conduct electricity. What could be this compound? Low melting and boiling point and does not conduct electricity in molten or in solid state. What could be this compound?
Simple covalence.
So this is simple covalent. And high melting and boiling point, insoluble, conduct electricity both in molten or in solid state. What could be this compound?
Metallic.
Metallic. Metallic compound or metal. Well, basically metals are normally the elements, so it's a metallic element, and the other are compounds because group of atoms. That's why we call in different atoms we call compound. So we identify F is simple covalent, G is giant covalent, H is ionic, I is simple covalent, and J is metallic. Now the question is, which substance in the table has ionic bond?
H.
Look, how we can identify, there's one question, how we can identify whether it's a metallic or it's an ionic. Metals can conduct electricity in both states. Metals can conduct electricity in solid as well as molten. But ionic compounds can conduct electricity in molten state. They cannot conduct electricity in solid state. So you can see here, this compound was conducting electricity in molten, a melted form, but not in solid. But the last compound is conducting electricity in both states, even it's molten or solid. So ionic compound can only conduct in molten or aqueous state or dissolved form, and where metallic can conduct in both solid and molten state. So this is a difference. Using this we can identify, because both have high melting point, but this will be the difference, that ionic can conduct only in molten but not in solid, where metals can conduct in both states because they have free electrons within the structure, so they can conduct electricity. Which substance in the table is ionic bond? So as we know, H is a ionic bond. Which substance in the table? Yes?
Sir, F and I, both of them are simple covalent.
Right.
So why there is their solubility in water is different?
Yeah, why one of them is very soluble and another is insoluble? What is the reason for that? Because what happened, example, if I say HCl, so HCl, hydrogen form a bond of sharing a bond with chlorine. This is HCl. And when I say H2S, so both of them are simple. Both of them are simple covalent. This is simple covalent, hydrogen chloride, and hydrogen sulfide is also simple covalent. But the strength of a bond is not same. Like some have stronger covalent bond, some has weaker covalent bond. So when we add them in water, if the water is able to break these bonds, then the substance will dissolve. If water is not able to break the bond, then the substance will not dissolve. So it depends, the solubility of a substance depends on the strength of the bond and number of the bonds within the structure. Like if I say I have CH3 and OH. So how many bonds are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 bonds are there. When we add in water, we observe it can dissolve. But if we have a similar kind of compound which is having OH but more bonds, so what we will observe? We will observe that the substance is not dissolving in water. Why the substance does not dissolve in water? Because dissolving refers to the mixing of the particle, because or the molecule. This molecule is larger in size or bigger in size. So when the molecule is bigger in size, it cannot fit between the water molecule. So as it cannot fit between the water molecule, so this will be insoluble and this will be soluble. So solubility of the covalent substances depends on the size of the molecule. If a molecule get bigger or larger, then the solubility will decrease. So both of them, both have the sharing of electrons. So both of them are covalent structure. But why one can be soluble and another one insoluble? Because the size of the atom, the size of the molecule, if molecules are larger or bigger in size, then the solubility of a covalent substances decreases. But for O levels, you're not going in detail of why some are soluble and why some are not soluble. As an extra information, you can just understand the concept that when a simple covalent structure, if they have more atoms within the structure or within the molecule, then the solubility of a substance decreases. So you can see here, F is very soluble. So F is very soluble, where I is insoluble. So what's the reason? Both are simple covalent, but why F is very soluble? Because it will have few atoms within the molecule. I is also a simple covalent, but it will have more atoms within the molecule. That is why it will not be able to adjust within the water molecule. So its solubility decreases or it will be insoluble. Is it clear? Is it clear the concept of why some simple covalent structures are soluble and some are not soluble? So it depends on the size of the molecule. If molecules are smaller in size, generally they dissolve or mix with water. If they're larger or bigger in size, then it will not dissolve. Which substance in the table is giant covalent structure? So which of them is a giant covalent structure? So G is the giant covalent structure, and here, which was ionic, H was ionic. Name a method you could use to separate J from water. I want to separate J from water. J is insoluble. Which method I can use to separate J from water? So J does not dissolve in water. So which technique I can use? I can use filtration. So we can simply use filtration to separate J from. Name a method you could use to obtain substance F from a mixture of F and water. How we can separate F from water? F is very soluble or soluble. How we can separate the soluble substance from water? Yeah, we can use evaporation. We remove the water by supplying heat energy, so evaporation can be used. Describe how could you obtain a solid sample of H from a mixture of H and G. So you have H and G as a mixture, and you want to obtain H. H is ionic compound and G is giant covalent. So first thing what we will do, we will have a mixture of G and H. So from this mixture of G and H, G is insoluble and H is soluble. So first what we will do, we will add water and stir. After stirring, because the G is insoluble and H is soluble, so then we will filter to separate G from H, and then we will have a solution. So if an ionic compound is there, we can use crystallization to separate H from what? So first we add water, we stir, and we filter it to remove G from G will be the residue and H will be filtrate, and then use crystallization to separate H from water. Is it clear? Any doubt in this? And the last one, the substance J is a metal. Describe how the J is able to conduct electricity when it is in a solid state. So how? Because it's a metal which has a free electron. Electrons are free to move within the structure. That is why it can conduct electricity. So these are few questions. The last question I did not discuss because I will share with you as a homework these exercises. Now we'll discuss some MCQs to check your concept. Everyone should participate in this because this is to check the understanding of the topic. We'll do MCQs from each exercise. This first one is MCQs from ionic. Sodium react with chlorine to form sodium chloride. Which statement describe what happened to sodium atom in this reaction? Mention your answers in a chat. Everyone should participate. 11 students, so I want 11 answers. Sodium atom react with chlorine. And what happened to sodium atom? Sodium is a metal. Keep that in mind. So basically what happens, sodium is a metal and metal tend to lose electron. And in ionic bond, there's a complete transfer of electrons. So sodium and chlorine. Sodium belongs to group 1, chlorine belongs to group 7. So there are 7 electrons. So electron actually travel from sodium to chlorine. So sodium will form a positive charge and chloride will form a negative charge. So the question was, what happened to sodium atom? Form a positive ion, that's true. And it loses electron, that's also true. So B is the right answer. The second MCQ from covalent. The table shows electronic structure of 4 atoms. Which 2 atoms combine to form covalent? So first thing, covalent bond can be formed between the non-metals. And how you can identify it's a non-metal? If it has 4, in the outer shell, 4 or more electrons are there. In the outermost shell, if there are 4 or more electrons, it will be a non-metal. So what could be the answer? So first you will identify, look, W is a metal. How I identify? Because there is 1 electron in the outermost shell. So this is a non-metal. This one is also a non-metal. And the last one is also a non-metal. But the last one, Z, is unreactive non-metal. It will not react. Why? Because it is already having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So when there are 8 electrons in the outermost shell, it will not react. So which 2 elements can react to form a covalent compound? X and Y. So that's why C is the right answer. Is it clear? So if there are 4 or more electrons in the last shell, it will be a non-metal. So first one is a metal. Metal does not form a covalent compound. It forms ionic or metallic. If a lone metal is there, metallic. If metal with non-metal, it will be ionic. So, but we have to find the covalent. So it should be between the non-metal. All 3 X, Y, Z are non-metals, but Z is unreactive non-metal because it has complete outer shell. The diagram represents the general structure of solid Z. What is solid Z? Aluminium. Aluminium is a metal. Iodine, a non-metal. Silicon 4 oxide is a giant structure, giant covalent, and sulfur is a non-metal. What could be the structure? Everyone should participate because so I can assess your understanding of the topic. So basically you can see here it's a positive ion and the free electrons. That's why it is A. How you can distinguish or how you can identify between, how you can distinguish between the ionic compound and the metals. So metals have a lattice of positive ion and the free electron. But if it was ionic compound, then what will be the structure? Ionic compound has a lattice of positive and negative charges, means the 2 charges in a regular pattern. So this one is positive. And the other one is negative. So that's the main difference between ionic compounds, that they have a lattice of unlike charges, means the arrangement of positive and negative charges, whereas metal has only the lattice of positive charges. You can see here, this is the positive charge are arranged and electrons are free to move. So they have a lattice of positive charge, metals. But ionic compound, they have a lattice of positive and negative charges, means unlike charges are together. The electronic structure of atom Q and R are shown. Q and R forms an ionic compound. What could be the formula? So how you can identify the formula of the ionic compound? Q belongs to group 7. So if it belongs to group 7, the valency, the charge will be -1. R belongs to group 1 because there's one electron in the outermost shell. So whenever the two valencies are same, you simplify and cross multiply. So C is the right answer. If any one of you having a doubt, you can ask or mention. Question number 2. Which statement describes the attractive force between the molecule or intermolecular force? Means when we say intermolecular force, force between the molecule, and this is related to covalent compound. Like if you have a covalent compound such as hydrogen sulfide, this is one molecule of hydrogen sulfide and this is another molecule of hydrogen sulfide. Between the molecule, the force between the molecule is called intermolecular force. So what could be the answer for this? Yeah, C is the right answer because they are weak force formed between the covalently bonded molecules. So whenever you have covalent molecule, they always have a weak force between them. Question number 2. Metal consists of a lattice of positive ion and a sea of electron. Why is aluminum malleable? Question number 2. What could be the answer? So why it is malleable? Because the layer of ions can slide over each other without breaking. Question 3 this is from ionic. Metal P react with non-metal Q to form a compound. Which process take place and which type of compound is formed? Metal P react with non-metal Q. Yeah, B is the right answer. That's correct. Because metal tend to lose electrons, so electron transfer from P to Q, and it will be ionic. Whenever there's a transfer of electron, the compound will be ionic. The diamond is extremely hard and does not conduct electricity. What could be the reason for that? Diamond is extremely hard and it does not conduct electricity. So the structure of a diamond, you can each form a 4 covalent bond, and there is no free electron. That's why it does not conduct electricity. So C is the right answer. Which substance exists as a lattice of positive ion in a sea of electron? Liquid potassium chloride, solid graphite, solid magnesium, solid silicon 4 oxide. C is the right answer. Yes, you have a question, Afrin? So solid magnesium. In which ionic compound do metals ion and non-metal have the same electronic structure? Same electronic structure means same number of electrons. So how you can identify, I will give you a hint for this question. Calcium oxide. The options are either it will be calcium oxide, potassium bromide, magnesium oxide, and sodium chloride. You will use a periodic table for this. First check calcium. Calcium is 20 and 40. And oxygen is 8 and 16. So how many electrons are there in calcium? Calcium is having 20 electrons, where oxygen will have 8 electrons as an atom. But how they will form a bond, because calcium belongs to group 2. So calcium will transfer 2 electrons and oxygen will take 2 electrons. So calcium will form a +2 charge. So if calcium form a +2 charge, so how many electrons will be there in calcium? It will have 18 electrons. And oxygen took 2 electrons. So how many electrons are there? 10 electrons. When they will form a compound, originally when they are atoms, calcium is having 20 electrons, oxygen is having 8 electrons. But when they form a compound, ionic compound, so electron transfer from calcium to oxygen. So calcium belongs to group 2, so it will transfer 2 electrons. So if calcium transfer 2 electrons, oxygen should take 2 electrons. So calcium will have now 18 electrons and oxygen will have 10 electrons. But they don't have the same electronic structure. Electronic structure means same number of electrons. So this cannot be an answer. If I check option C, magnesium and oxygen, you can use the periodic table to answer this question. Magnesium is 12 and 24 and oxygen is 8 and 16. So when magnesium, how many electron magnesium atom contain? It contains 12 electrons. And how many oxygen contain? It contains 8 electrons. But what happened when they react? Magnesium loses electron, oxygen gain. Magnesium belongs to group 2, so it should lose 2 electrons. So how many electrons magnesium will have after transfer? It will have only 10 electrons. Same way, oxygen gained electrons, so it was 8, it gained 2, so it will also become 10 electrons. So now you can see the number of electron in magnesium is same as number of electron in oxygen. So which of them have the same electronic structure? C is the right answer. Is it clear? Why not sodium chloride? Because sodium is 11 and 23. and chlorine is 17 and 35 or 37 the isotopes. So sodium contains 11 electrons, sodium atom. Look, the question is, in which compound do the metal ion and the non-metal ion have the same electronic structure? So metal ion and non-metal ion have the same electronic structure, means same number of electrons. So when you check magnesium, when you draw the magnesium, this is magnesium. Magnesium contains 12 electrons. So first shell it will have 2, second shell it will have 8, and third shell it will have 2 electrons. So first shell it will have 2, second shell it will have 8, and the third shell it will have 2. That's magnesium. About oxygen, oxygen is having 8 electron in the outermost shell. Oxygen is having total 8 electron and 6 electron in the outermost shell. So first shell it will have 2 electrons, second shell it will have 6 electrons. So what happened, because it's an ionic compound, magnesium will lose its electron and oxygen will gain those electrons. So when magnesium lose electron, now what is the new configuration for magnesium? As it lost the electrons, so magnesium will form a plus charge, and how many total electron will be there? It will have 10 electrons because it lost 2 electrons. Same way, oxygen took 2 electrons from magnesium. So what will be the charge on oxygen? The charge on oxygen will be -2. So you can see here they have the same number of electrons or same electronic structure. Is it clear? Graphite and diamond are both forms of element carbon. Which row shows the number of other carbon atoms that each carbon is covalently bonded in graphite and in diamond? What could be the answer? In graphite, there are 3 bonds, and in diamond, there are 4 bonds. Question number 4. Which statement about metal is not correct? Question number 4. Which statement about the metal is not correct? So when you check these statements, metals are malleable because metal lines can slide over each other. That's true. Metal conduct electricity because electrons can move through the lattice. That's true. Metal consists of a giant lattice of metal line in a sea of electron. That's also true. Metals have high melting point because strong force of attraction between metal ion. This statement is not complete. It should be metal ion and free electrons. If this was metal ion and free electron, then the statement is right. But it's only because metal ions, like charges, repel each other. Metal line does not have attraction, they have repulsion. Why? Because metal lines are identical in charge, so they tend to repel each other. That's why D is the right answer. Because the question is which is not true. Which substance is a macromolecular? Macromolecular means giant. The diamond is having a giant structure. Which statement describes the metallic bonding? In metallic bonding, it's an attraction between the positive ion and the delocalized electrons. The structure of ethanoic acid is shown. The outer electrons are there. Which diagram shows the outer electron molecule of ethanoic acid correctly? Look, in this one, first you have to work out to identify like carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. So here oxygen is having 5 electrons, which is wrong. Here oxygen does not have any electron. Here hydrogen is having electron. That's the C is the right answer. Because oxygen should have 4 electrons in the outermost shell, unshared electrons. The reason, because the unshared carbon belongs to group 4, oxygen belongs to group 6, hydrogen belongs to group 1. So this will share 4, this will share 2, share 1, unshared will be 4, unshared will be 0 and 0. So hydrogen and carbon should not have any unshared electron, and oxygen should have 4 unshared electrons. That's why C is the right answer.